Hi everybody. So today I wanted to do something different, something that I've really never done, which is take photos of cars. So I've always liked seeing photos of cars and seeing some cool photos of cars, so I decided to start to take some pictures of my car and see how they would turn out. Now the challenge of doing something like this is I don't have big strobes. I went on YouTube and I checked out videos of how people have been shooting cars, and they all have these giant, thousands of dollars worth of big strobe kits, which I don't have any of that. I just have speed lights, so I decided to go like a different route. I just used one flash and tried out different modifiers to see what I can get with shooting photos of my car. So here I use my Nikon SB900 flash, and I used it with two modifiers. I tried it first with this modifier here, which is my Apollo 36-inch strip box here with the flash, and then I also used a 60-inch umbrella, which is this PhotoFlex 60-inch reflective umbrella. I shot it this way. This thing's really big, as you can see here. This giant umbrella works good though. So that's all I used, and the lens that I used was this lens here, which is my Nikon 24-70 2.8 lens. Shot mostly on the wide side. So my thinking about shooting the car was more trying to get something artistic and something creative. I didn't want to just get a regular shot of the car, in like the street or something like that, where I see most cars like that. I wanted to overpower the sun. So I waited until it was about sunset, or the sun was just about setting, so I can use my flash to basically blacken out the background, because I didn't have like a big backdrop or a nice big warehouse or a stage where I see a lot of these professional people shooting cars. They need a lot of space. I didn't have that. I just did it right outside in my driveway. It's actually parked at an angle, and I did everything handheld. So I waited till the sun got down so I can kind of speed up my shutter speed and just black out the background, and then take some detail shots of the car. And I'll throw up all my settings and talk a little bit about the pictures that I've taken, but everything was basically handheld, and I just switched out the modifiers. It was just me by myself moving the light around. What I did use to hold my lights up was I did use this C-stand right here. This Matthews C-stand. It's a pretty big, heavy C-stand. I like using C-stands when I can, because they're really heavy and stable, and when you put a 60-inch umbrella up, it acts like a sail, so any wind on a regular light stand, the chances are of it blowing over are pretty high. So the C-stand's probably about 30 pounds maybe, somewhere around there. I've never really weighed it. So it acts as a good weight, and I actually have 20 pounds of weight also, sandbags, but I didn't use, which I probably should have when I had the umbrella up. But it wasn't windy, so it held up fine, and I just walked around the car and took shots with it. So here's a shot here where I used my umbrella on the C-stand here. The settings here were ISO 100 at 24 millimeters, aperture 5.6 at 1/200th of a second. I think I used a 1/200th of a second, which is my maximum sync speed on my D600 on all of my shots, because I wanted to get the most out of my flash and at the same time black out or basically, you've heard that term, overpower the sun. This shot here is the same thing. I use my umbrella for this shot as well. Same settings, ISO 100 at 24 millimeters, 5.6 at 1/200th of a second. So here in this shot, you can actually see my umbrella in the reflection of the bumper. If you look really close right under the headlight, you'll see the umbrella. It's all the same settings again. Once again, it's ISO 100 at 24 millimeters, f5.6 at 1/200th of a second. Here's a shot here where I took a picture of the rear of the car. In this shot, I used my softbox, my strip box, I guess. So here the settings were ISO 100 at 27 millimeters, f8 at 1/200th of a second. Now here, I had to play with the light quite a bit on this shot. it's actually, the light is actually pointed almost directly downward onto the bumper of the car. So it's actually just, it's like shooting at the floor. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but it's just basically pointing down at the floor. And I had to move it quite a bit and angle it quite a bit to finally get, because I wanted the 370Z logo to be lit in the shot, but I didn't want the whole car. Just want it to be slightly lit like how it is here. So it took me a while to move the light around to finally get the light to shine, because you got to remember I'm by myself, so I take a shot, move the light, get back into position, move the light. It probably took like 5 or 6 shots. It was kind of a pain. Here's a shot here of the right wheel, the right rear wheel. This shot was done with my umbrella. Again, I like how I was able to black out the background with the fast shutter speed and my flash. Oh, by the way, my flash, I think on all these photos, I adjusted it once. I think it was at half power for most of the shots, and then when I switched over to my umbrella, I went to full power. Here's a shot of the driver's side rear tire. This shot here, I use my softbox, angled camera right, and the settings on this was ISO 124 millimeters at f5.6 at 1/200th of a second. Here's a shot of the driver's side headlight. I actually don't like this shot very much. I use my softbox here. I don't really like the angle. It's just kind of a downward angle. My softbox was at camera left. This shot was at ISO 100 at 31 millimeters, f8 at 1/200th of a second. Okay, so those are the photos that I took from, or at least the best photos that I thought out of the bunch when I was taking the shots. I probably took about 50 shots, maybe a little bit less. It took a while because and it took a lot of trial and error shots, because although I was metering my light with my light meter, I still had to move, adjust the angle of the light, and then get back into position, shoot, walk over, adjust, and so on. So it did take a little while, and like I said, I was alone. But if I just wanted to go the creative route, I didn't have, like I said, a bunch of big powerful strobes to overpower the sun. And you know, typically when you're shooting a subject as large as a car, you typically want a large light source to light that subject. I didn't have that. I just used one strobe and a couple of modifiers, and I thought that turned out pretty well. I was able to black out the sun. I just had to wait for the right time of day when the sun was, you know, just setting, and it was strong enough. My flash was powerful enough, and my shutter speed was high enough to overpower the sun and just black out the background, because I shot these right off the driveway. Anyway, if there are any questions about how I took these photos or about photography in general, if I can help and answer them, just leave them at the comments below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next video.